So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Founders on Fire podcast from the Tech Trailblazers. I'm Rose Ross, and I'm the co-founder and, well, I'm actually not the co-founder, I'm the founder and chief tech trailblazer. And I'm delighted to be joined here today by Adi Ruppin, who is co-founder and CEO of Ananda Networks, who are one of our winners from last year, and they won in the networking category. Hello, Adi. Thanks for joining.
Good morning, Rose. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Well, it's a pleasure to speak with you. And you've had a very long and illustrious career in the startup space. So I'm looking forward to finding out a little bit more about your adventures so far, and perhaps try and tease out of you just a little bit of what we can expect to see from Ananda over the coming months and years. So what I'd love to start off with is just to get a little bit of a sense of who you are. And obviously you have a co-founder, Elad Rav, who is your chief joy officer, according to Crunchbase, which sounds very exciting. So we might have to get him on at some stage to find out what the joyfulness is all about. But in the meantime, it'd be great to just get a little bit of an overview of Ananda itself as an organization. What technology are you have you created, and what are the benefits to your customers and potential customers?
Yeah, so joy plays a big part of it. That's maybe I'll explain that would give you some of the context. So the name Ananda is a Sanskrit word, and it stands for the ultimate state of bliss or joy. And as somebody who's done several startups in cybersecurity networking, you never felt joy, using a VPN or a firewall. This is something that's imposed on you. You kind of have to use it. It just makes your life a little harder and slower and so on. And we just wanted to do something that would bring joy, basically reinvent the network so it brings joy rather than be in this situation we are in today when we are forced to use tools that are making our life kind of miserable. So that's why he's the chief joy officer, because he's kind of our evangelist, working with customers and partners. And that's kind of the goal behind Ananda, to kind of reinvent the network. And it goes back to, like I said, between the founding team, we've had a double-digit number of startups that we started. And we felt that they were all kind of incremental, and like most startups are. So they're doing like a small epsilon improvement over something that's been done before. And taking the Elon Musk route for a minute, he talks about like first principles, right? Like, how do you go back and tear down the problem into its basic form and then try to invent something new? So we felt again that instead of creating a new patch or something that's an incremental change, how about we kind of go back to the basics and try to recreate the network, because we kind of trace most of the issues that we are having with the network's initial design, right? Because when the internet was designed in the 60s, nobody was thinking about security, nobody was thinking about the performance or even connecting like disparate networks together. And ever since, what we've been doing is kind of patching it up, putting band-aids, firewalls, VPNs, SD-WANs, CASBs, MPLS. There's so many acronyms that came out of it. And if we can make another one, we can make one of them slightly better, or we can kind of go back and try to rebuild it. So that's kind of what's the genesis of Ananda here.
Fantastic. I was going to ask, actually, because I've been doing quite a lot of meditation over lockdown, and Deepak Chopra and I are like that now. We're really close. And I know that one of his ones is Ananda, and it's bliss as well. So I'm glad that's where it came from. So I should imagine you'll have a chief Zen officer at some stage soon then. Or is that you?
Yeah, as we grow.
Fantastic. Well, that's what Ananda's behind. So reinventing the network. And obviously, our judges liked it, and the public liked what you were saying, because otherwise you'd have not been successful. So, and you personally, you clearly grew up in Israel and studied in Tel Aviv for a long time. And in fact, I noticed if we're going to delve a little bit deeper into Adi's background, you actually did a lot of your studying while you were doing your first startup software.
I have, somehow.
Yeah.
Well,
not bad
the secret
going.
is never to, the secret is never to actually attend university. Just show up for the tests. That's the secret.
I don't think we should say that too loud. Apologies there to everybody who's a student right now. Do not necessarily go 100% with Adi's advice on being a student, but it obviously worked because you got an MSc and a PhD in computer science. So that's quite some achievement, even if you weren't running a startup, which you then successfully sold to Checkpoint. So obviously it all worked out fine.
Yes, somehow I made it work, yes.
So that's quite blissful. That's quite an Ananda moment, I would have thought.
Nothing, I feel nothing in the startup world is blissful. From the beginning of raising money is never fun. Begging VCs for funds is not a good position to be in, and operational stuff can be pretty stressful as well. And selling, I've sold both. All my 3 companies have been acquired so far, and that's even more stressful than the other 2 stages. So there's no zen anywhere in startups.
Oh dear. Well, you must quite like it. You're either a masochist because you've done it. This is the 4th time round.
It's like giving birth. You forget the pains.
You forget the pain once the joy of the acquisition has gone through. So that's good. But yeah, I mean, you've been Sync was acquired by Phoenix in 2008, and then Watchdogs was acquired by BlackBerry in 2017. And now obviously you're in Ananda, and I'm sure there are some interesting plans ahead with regards to what you plan to do over the coming years there as well. Can you give us a little bit of an insight into what we might be expecting to see?
Ananda is honestly the most exciting project. Well, like I said, I think it's the most out of the box of all the things I've done. So pretty excited about the concept and how it's kind of fundamentally changing thing. We just launched a few months ago, so it's a fairly new product. So now the exciting thing, we've signed our first customers and partners, and we're seeing usage and we're getting feedback. And I'm most excited, frankly, about the feedback that we're getting. Sales are important and the business, but kind of getting the validation that we've made people's life better by creating the network is secure and more faster and more secure. But I think I take the most pride in somebody saying, "Oh, you've really done this in an elegant way. It's so much easier, simpler, less costly," because that's kind of the design that we put into it. So I'm really kind of proud of these moments that we're having. And I think in the coming month you'll see some kind of major. There's some customers obviously, but some major partnership news that we're working on.
Okay.
So there's the market is really looking for some sort of a solution on these COVID days. There are a few interesting trends, right? One is COVID. We're all doing this from home, so enterprises, businesses are looking for ways to extend their networks to where the users are, which is home, at least a few days a week. The other interesting trend that we're just now seeing is that the chip shortage, right? You cannot get cars, and you cannot get electronic devices. There's a big shortage, and one of the principles behind Ananda is also creating something that's basically a software-based solution. We don't need to ship hardware appliances anywhere. So these 2 trends are really interesting for us because they create this perfect storm for if we could just connect everybody better and not need any additional hardware, that would be great. So these trends will kind of show up in our upcoming partnerships. One of the partnership opportunities that we are just going to announce is actually in a couple days. There's a big launch of a new initiative called the TIP, Telecom Infrastructure Project. So that's an initiative run by Facebook and Google and Deutsche Telekom and some other sort of giants. They're essentially building a new Wi-Fi router for the home and for business, I think, as well. And so it's a nice platform that brings kind of this strong open source platform to people working from home to connect better. We are going to be kind of featured on it as providing this connectivity to the enterprise. So basically, we're leveraging that platform and not only making the connection from the home or in the home better, but also creating a better connection to people working in a kind of corporate environment. So that's a pretty exciting announcement. I think our session is with the people from Facebook and a few other partners. So that's a pretty major one, and it's going to be very cool for us to be running on a bunch of different new types of routers, as well as the computers and other devices.
We should keep an eye out for that, for sure. So I mean, you've had a number of accolades. I noticed. I think CRN gave you coolest edge computing. Top 10 for that. Crunchbase was one of the startups to watch in 2020, and obviously the accolade of all, the Trailblazer Networking Trailblazer Award. How important is that recognition, that involvement in the industry, and getting a shout out from awards for you guys?
I think it's pretty important for, definitely for younger companies. You just need to somehow get noticed. So definitely very, very helpful. I think as you grow, you start paying tens of thousands of dollars to Gartner and Forrester and these guys. But I think initially these are quite important, and it was great to get them.
Cool. Fantastic. And what advice would you give? I mean, being a fourth time round founder, apart from run away screaming because it's a very painful process. But what advice would you give to people who are maybe starting out in their first, enterprise tech startup?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I also do some investing, and it's always difficult to give a good advice. I mean, advice is easy, but I mean, the one thing, there's no one thing, but one thing I would say is to pick a good team, good partners, whether it's the investors or your co-founders or your team. I think that's one of the most important things. And especially when you're a younger company or you're like a first-time entrepreneur, it's hard to tell what constitutes a good team, right? What constitutes a good investor. So, I mean, this time around, for example, we've been trying to be very picky with who we work with, because not everybody who wants to give you money is necessarily the right partner for you to kind of hit your future to. So that's something that, and it's hard to know. I think you need to ask around. It's never as obvious as it seems. So I would definitely spend a lot of time vetting your investors, partners, employees, and so on.
Cool. Well, I do notice that you actually haven't, unless I'm incorrect, or should I say Crunchbase is incorrect, you haven't actually taken any VC funding as yet, although you have taken some seed. Oh, you have? Oh, it has it down as seed funding from a couple of venture companies, but I wasn't sure how that kind of panned out.
No, we raised about $6 million from VCs and a few individual investors. So yeah, we're kind of well funded, and we have several VCs on board.
Fabulous. So one of the things that obviously, as we've talked about a little bit, and it seems to be driving this partnership that you talked about with Facebook and others that are involved with that around this new Wi-Fi router approach. But there have been lots of challenges over the last 12 months in particular, and obviously that's driving this type of thing. How have the Ananda team dealt with that? Because you're based in California. Are you all sort of on the West Coast, or are you spread around a bit anyway?
We're headquarters in the West Coast, so all the business functions are here, and I have developers in Israel and India. Mm-hmm. So pretty distributed ourselves. For us, we are trying to spin it in our favor in a way, right? Because these trends are actually what's supporting our product. Not that we anticipated that, but it's there's some positive things about it, because people are need this better connectivity, more secure connectivity more. So this is in some ways a positive. And being able to help these companies deal with COVID and these trends is we're fortunate to be able to do that. The challenges, I think the main challenge is just kind of a couple. One is on the business side, you need to adjust your marketing when people are not working in the office, and the other is kind of the internal and how you work with your own team that you cannot visit, because I haven't been able to visit them for like a year. So there's some Zoom fatigue, and you need to get used to doing that. But I think we've been able to do that. There was actually, most companies I talked to say that initially there was even a boost in productivity, just because people don't need to commute and spend so much time in things that are not necessary. Having said that, I think there is people are yearning to go back to the office and meet people. You can see that my background, there are a lot of fake people in my virtual background, so I can feel like I'm in an office. So I think there's definitely a big need to interact with people.
So you're very much of the view that for you guys it will be the hybrid approach of perhaps more remote working, but also spending time together, sort of face to face.
My team, at least my team, is really eager to work to go back to working in person. I'm not saying it's going to be 5 days a week, but definitely a considerable amount of time. I know there's companies built in a different way, but I think our product is pretty technologically complex, and we're doing things that are new. So it's hard to go through the design and iteration when you're remote. There's some being close together in the same room makes a difference.
Well, communication and just being able to stick your head up over a monitor and go, oh, I'm just working on this. What's going on with this thing, rather than scheduling a meeting or trying to catch somebody on the phone or whatever. There is that instantaneous communication.
Yeah, with Zoom, you cannot really see everything around that box, right? You can really sense what people are feeling, or just going to casually go and reach out. So there's advantages, especially in these type of products, to being together.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've talked a little bit about what's happening, for you guys in the immediate future. Obviously talked about what Ananda is, a little bit about your journey. Is there anything else that you feel that you'd like to share with listeners?
With entrepreneurs, with like advice, or
any other thoughts on that? Or maybe as an investor, as a potential investor, that insight might be useful.
I would just go back to the Elon Musk's first principles. Try to do something new. I think like we said, it's kind of difficult times, but I think it brings also opportunity, because everybody has to change how they work, whether it's the IT side or the project management, the social side of it. So it's tough, and people are struggling, but it also opens up all these opportunities to do major changes in the interaction, the technology, the communications. So I would try to spin it positively and try to really leverage the promise here.
Well, it's certainly an exciting time. I'm sure, as you would say, there's very rarely a dull moment in startup land. So that's great. So thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure to meet you, and wishing you continued success on your Ananda. journey. And that was the Tech Trailblazers Founders on Fire with Adi Ruppin, who's the co-founder and CEO of Ananda Networks. Thank you all for listening. And if you'd like to engage with us on social media, you can find us on Twitter at Tech Trailblaze and also on LinkedIn as the Tech Trailblazers.